Hello, welcome back everybody. Hope you had a lovely lunch. I had some cheese and crackers, which is what I always like to have for my lunch when I'm here. I hope you're all very well. We are here for masterclass today. We've got Animal Antics, not Animal Antiques, but Animal Antics. And it's actually Animal Homeless Shelter Awareness Day. So we'd like to see any photos you've got of your animals, if you've got them from a rescue centre or homeless shelter. And let us know some stories about your animals. That would be lovely to hear, lovely to see. Perhaps you, in fact, I sort of sponsored a dog many years ago who was blind deaf and only had 3 legs. So he was absolutely no chance of ever being rehomed. But I did sponsor him for quite a few years. So maybe you've got some stories like that. We always like to hear those. And so do just drop us a message and let us know some details there. I'm here today with lovely Lily. Hello, Lily. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
Good.
Yeah. Excited about this masterclass. I think a little bit different, which I think will be really fun. But we've got lots of different sort of products coming up throughout this masterclass. So it's all about animal antics. As I did say on Playcraft, right, I'm struggling. I want to call it animal antiques, but there's certainly nothing antique about this card. Look how pretty that is, using some of our illustrated animal stamps that we had a little look at on Playcraft, right. We've got those on today's masterclass. Perhaps you like your stamping and colouring. We've used some of our pencils on this particular stamp. What a gorgeous little image that is, but it could be quite masculine as well. So we've got something for absolutely everyone when it comes to the ranges that we're featuring on this afternoon's masterclass. But look how fun, bright and bold, using all those lovely fun summer colours, using our twirling characters. They are coming up on today's show as well.
Lovely.
The first demonstration, we're actually going to be using this range, our lovely character over the edge stamps and dies. You can be creating all your concept cards. So we've got a lovely fold back card here. We're going to be creating concepts like this throughout the show. But perhaps you'll love your Lee Holland stamps. Maybe you tuned in to Playcraft right this morning and you saw some of our cute scene stamps and dies. We've got even more Lee Holland stamps on this masterclass. But using all your sepia tones, how effective does that look? I think we quite often think of all the bright colours, but think of just using your sepia tones, maybe your black and whites. How effective does that look? Looks absolutely incredible. And finally, one more Lee Holland, but totally different, with much more girly, more perhaps summertime, springtime sort of tones, using perhaps your brush markers we've also got on today's show to build up really pretty cards. So lots and lots of variety, lots of different sorts of products on today's show, but all with that animal theme. So I think they're going to be great for just about anybody. I mean, so many of us have pets. We all love animals. We're definitely a nation of animal lovers. So I think this is going to be an absolutely fabulous masterclass. So I'm so pleased to have your company.
I think so too. That's brilliant. I do love those kind of cards. So we're going to show you all the bits and pieces we've got on the show coming up, so you can shop ahead. So we've got the Lee Holland cute character stamp collection with those 4 elements in there, and that's £21.60 or $28.80, and that's your platinum price. So that's a really good saving there, saving £40 on them. And then we've got the 3 stamp collection, and we've got 14 different elements in here. So that's with that little dragon, the little dragon, 2 little dragons, I think, or 3 little dragons, all holding those different sort of parcels, a cake and a balloon. Gorgeous little things there. £9 or $11. Platinum price is £7.20 or $8.80. Then we've got over the edge selection of dies and stamps here. These are something that Lily's going to be showing us on a demo a little bit later. Platinum price here is £11.20 or $16. So for all 4 of those, you're getting 53 elements in those. Then we've got the trifold apertures. These are the stamp and die selection that you would have seen in the earlier show in Play Your Crafts Right. So you've got some beautiful little animals and bits and pieces there. You can choose how to colour those or decorate those. You saw some lovely different samples of those earlier. £15.20 or $20 at platinum price. Then we've got the twirling characters. So you saw that little sample with a bee in it earlier on. This is got 36 elements, 3 different types you've got here. Wow, that's a great price. £4.79 or $5.97. 35% saving on that one. They're normally $7.99 each, so this is a great opportunity to get those, and they do look so great when people open up the card and everything twirls around. Really lovely. The next one you've got is your illustrated animal stamp and die set. So you've got 5 different ones here. We saw the giraffe on this morning's show. This is £14.40 or $16.80. That's your platinum price. So worth doing there. And then we've got animal stamp collection with these really good size stamps, all the sort of key pet stamps that we would have. You've got 40 different elements. You've got £13 or $17. Your platinum price is £10.40 or $13.60. Do you remember we have our penny sale on the show as well? So the penny sale, if you have a look at the website, you can buy an item and you will get another item just for a penny. So that's definitely worth stocking up. But have a look at the website so you can see exactly what details are included in that. Now, our weekend super saver is what we've just got over here. So these are all your folding dies. There's your lattice folding dies. You've got 6 different ones here. Great price, £20.80 or $25.60. Now on the boards, if I show you these, how they actually work, you'll see the board, when you use the die to cut it out, you'll see you've got the die here, and then you cut your shape out here. This is how it looks when it first comes out of the die cutting machine. And then you're just folding back parts of that die in order to get that beautiful design. So they look really super effective. So this is your star. Then we have another one of the stars here. Don't know why we've got 2. We've got your double diamond here as well. And that looks really effective, that kind of lattice effect. You've got your chevron, which is great for those little borders. Perhaps you're going to use those on an edge of a box. You've got circle. You've got your opulence. Now these are all done in black and white, but obviously when you're using your different colour markers, you might be using your gilding wax and using different papers behind those, they can look super effective. And then you've got your double loop there. This one looks to me like the most complicated design, but when you actually look at it, it's really very, very simple. So the price today is £26 or $32. The platinum price is £20.80 or $25.60. Now we do have the riddle of the day. So riddle me this. So what we need to do is work out what item we're looking for on this, and then go to the website, pop it into the search term. That item will come up with a super incredible deal. You just need to work out what the answer is. And I do know that we had people messaging in earlier today. So you have a look at the comments from the earlier shows. You may be able to find out what it is if you're not too sure already. But the riddle is, I'm a collectible surprise you just cannot miss. Jam-packed with projects and colourful bits. Watercolour, rainbow brights, sparkle and more. Pick up your favourite to sketch, colour and draw. What am I? Do you know what it is, Lily? Well,
because
you knew what it was before. Would you be able to work it out? Quite a tricky one, isn't it?
No, I don't think I could get it.
Well done to anyone that has already got it. Lots of people coming in to say hello. Shadiah, Michelle, Laura, Lillian, Urana, Catherine, Jean, loads of people messaging in. Do message in with your your things about dogs and animals and pets. If you've had a pet that you've rescued, perhaps you rescued from the side of the road or you went to a rescue centre. We'd love to see some pictures. We'd love to hear some stories. So just message those into Crafters Companion TV. Right, we're going to look at the Over the Edge collection first of all. So I just grabbed that. This is absolutely gorgeous. I think this is really, really super cute. So this is a 70% savings. So this first one that we've got here is your paw prints. Look at those, look how cute they are. So you've got your dies down here and you'll also get your stamps for those little characters and also those sentiments there as well. So that is your paw prints. And then this one is your birthday balloons. That is absolutely beautiful. Really, really cute little characters here. And you can obviously colour those the way you would want to. So platinum price is £11.20 or $16. This is really, really good. These are normally $11.99, so these are a really good saving as always. And it's all about animals, so Lily's going to be using this in her next demo, aren't you, Lily?
Absolutely, and what a sweet collection this range of stamps and dies are. And I'm going to be using the paw prints first of all. There's something about these 2 little doggies just so, so sweet. And again, I'm loving the sentiments that we've got in this particular collection. collection as well. So the same sort of concept with all of the die and stamp sets within this range. So what you get is you get your set of stamps. So you've got your main focal image, which is going to be your over the edge design, but of course it doesn't have to be. You could be using this just as a topper without the dies, so lots of options there already. You get your stamps as well for your sentiments and your little accessories as well. So great for building up your backgrounds, little finishing touches or embellishments for all your projects. So those are our stamps, but we also get 3 different dies, and the packaging explains it really, really well, so it's so easy to sort of know how we work with these dies. So it gives us 3 different options. So we have a left cutting edge, we have a right cutting edge, and we have a top cutting edge. So if we want to cut it on the left hand side, the right hand side, or at the top of our card, we have those 3 different options.
Well, I like how versatile it makes it.
So versatile, isn't it? And of course you could be using the left and the right hand ones, both of them at the same time, for an even more different options with that. But what we're going to be using for this particular demo is we're going to be using that top die. So all we've done, really easy to do, we've taken a card base, and this is 3.5 inches by just over 5 inches. We've scored it in half, and then on this front piece we just marked at half again, but don't score all the way across. And then what I've done is I've taken the stamp and I've just stamped directly into the middle of there, and then we've taken our die and we've just cut that top edge along there, just on that center point. And then at that point, once you've cut, add your score line in, and this is going to give you an easel card using that top die. So just the one stamp and your one die, using those together will give you that concept card. So basically we cut into that area, and then by adding that score line left and right, that gives us our concept. They look absolutely gorgeous, of course.
They're
they
so
are
cute.
So sweet, aren't they? But let's add some colour to make them sing even more. What we've done is we've created this card base out of Nina card, and we've stamped using a rustic brown alcohol proof ink from Spectrum Noir. I'm going to start off by colouring in his little bath, the little bucket that he's sat in, and we're going to be using our tri-blend pens again. We do have these on today's show. You'll find these on the website. These are perfect for colouring all of your animal stamp designs, with them having that lovely brush nib ends to them. It means that you can get lovely effects when it comes to fur and hair as well. The brush nib is perfect for hair, but lovely quality brush nib makes laying down colour really easily when we come to colour in our stamped images. So we're using the brown grey blend, and I'm just going all over this bucket area with that lightest tone. Within our tri-blends, we've got 3 different colour tones within the one pen. We've got our light, which is what we're using at the moment. We've got our medium, which is what we're going to start using now, and then we also have our dark. So it allows us to get that smooth blend transition between the lightest tone and the darkest tone, so we can build up our light and shade with our highlights, with our areas of shadow really easily, to create really dimensional looking designs. So I'm imagining that this bucket is sort of beveled, so we're going to have that roundness to the shape of this bucket. So it will be darker at the edges, and then in the centre, where the light will be hitting it, it will be paler. So we're having the shadow at the edges. So at the edges is going to be where we have our darkest tones within this 3 pen blend, and then it's going to be lighter in the middle. So we're just going to have that lightest colour. So once we've laid down that mid-tone, if we feel it needs blending a little bit more in the middle, just go back to that lightest tone that we laid down to start with, and then just go over that join area. Don't go over all of the mid-tone, otherwise what you'll end up doing is you'll just bleach out that colour, because with your alcohol pens you can colour over the top with a lighter image and lighter pen even, and bleach out that colour underneath. So just go over ever so slightly where that join line is. We can see that starts to blend out those 2 tones together really nicely, and then we go back in with our darkest tone within this 3 pen blend, and at the very edges we're not going all the way over the area that we added our mid-tone. We're just adding this at the very edges, the darkest areas of this particular part of the image.
It's very quick to make that look 3D, isn't it?
Isn't it? And doesn't it look so effective? I mean, you could go over with just the one tone, but it would give you a very sort of flat looking image, and it wouldn't look very realistic or dimensional, but by just using the one pen with the 3 different colour tones within that one tri-blend pen, it allows us to build up this light and shade very easily. And the same with this darker tone. If we find it's not so much of a smooth blend between the mid-tone and the dark tone, just go back in with that mid-tone and blend out at the very edges where that dark meets the mid-tone, and that's going to give you an even smoother blend onto there to get that really nice ombre. So that's how we'd colour in our bucket. Nice and easy to colour that in using our brown grey blend. Then we're going to take our earth brown blend and we're going to colour a little bit of this doggy at the top here. So I always go on about focusing on just a small section of the image at a time. So I'm just going to focus on his face, and I'm going in with that lightest tone within
He's
this
so sweet.
Oh, his little face is so sweet, isn't he? I think the one on the right is quite pleased. It's not his bath time. He's out of the bath, and maybe he's already had his bath. Little dog in the bath seems quite happy. Seems quite happy that it's bath time.
Do you have a dog? Do you have a pet?
I don't know. I don't have any pets, unfortunately. At my mum's, my sister's got 2 tortoises, so whenever I go to visit, I get to see those 2. They are very, very sweet. They're got quite funny names. So they're Greek tortoises.
Right.
And my sister was quite young when she named them, so they've been named after Greek foods.
Okay.
So we got Olive first.
Yeah.
So quite a normal name, Olive.
Yeah.
A few years later, we decided, oh yeah, we want another tortoise. And my sister's favourite Greek dish at the time was a dish. It's basically butter beans and a tomato sauce, and it's called gigantes. And so the little tortoise is called gigantes, which is a bit ironic as well, because obviously she's the little one, so she's not the giant. And when we first got her, she was absolutely tiny. Really, really small.
And they live for a very long time, don't
do. I'm trying to think now how long we had Olive for. She's a teenager now, so we must have had her well over 10 years. And I remember when we first got her, it was actually me that carried her home. So they give you a little box, like a little plastic container with a bit of kitchen roll in the bottom. And I had to carry her in the car on the way home. My mum was like, make sure it doesn't move too much, you know. Make sure she's kept safe and we can get her home safely. So yeah, I carried her home. And they've had her ever since. So they get on really well, actually, the 2 of them, which is quite sweet. I think people think tortoises are quite boring and quite slow, but they do have real personalities. They are a funny little pair. But I got sent pictures yesterday, actually, from my sister of them 2 in the bath.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
They have a bath?
Yes, they do have a bath. So they have a big baking tray.
Yeah.
And they put them in fill the baking tray with the warm water.
Yeah.
And they have a little bath. Yeah, so she gets like some cotton wool balls, like what you'd use for your makeup.
Yeah.
And gives them a little wash down in the bath.
Ah.
Yeah, it's quite sweet.
I wouldn't even think that you would bath a tortoise.
Yeah, because in like their terrarium where they live, they've got wood chips down so they can get a little bit dusty.
Right.
And when it's nice weather, my sister will take them out in the garden. They've got like a playpen in the garden that they'll go in. Yeah, people think tortoises are dead boring, but they live quite the life, those 2, I can tell you.
Yeah.
So this image is definitely making me think of that picture I got yesterday of them, both of them in the bath. This might be doggies, but I mean, you could have pictures of your own dogs in the bath. How fabulous to use this stamp on a scrapbook page, actually.
Yeah.
How cute would that be? And you could colour them in whatever colour you like, whatever colour your little doggies are. But we've carried on colouring in exactly the same way, so you can see we've used that same technique for the bath, just working from light to dark, exactly the same with the dogs as with the bath. For this dog on the right, we use tan blend, and then for our bubbles in the bath, we use true blue blend. I mean, you could be using your sparkle pens on the bubbles, you could be using your glossy highlights.
Nice idea, yeah.
Lots of different techniques you can be using with that, but a really simple image to colour in. But once you've got that little concept onto there, it looks really quite special. But we're going to bring in a few pattern papers now just to decorate up the base. Obviously, we've got a nice bit of detail on that top section there, but to decorate this lower section, I've got some pattern paper, and this is from, it was our Everyday Inspiration 8x8 inch paper pad that I've taken this from. But I know I've had a little look while I was having my dinner. I had a little look on the penny sale, you know, as you do, thinking, oh, what shall I get? There's quite a few paper pads on there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so if you're thinking you need to stock up on your 8x8 paper pads,
there's
even some 12x12 in there, which I was a bit like, ooh.
Wow.
Yeah, there's some good stuff in there. So if you're looking to stock up on your 8x8s, definitely have a look on your penny sale, because there's some fab paper pads in there. and those will be perfect for a card like this, but we've added it onto a blue matten layer just to pick out the blue that we've used for the love hearts, and of course those love hearts and the paw prints that we've used down there are from that same stamp set, so it just goes to show how we can use everything together. So picking out that blue onto that matten layer, adding that onto the base of our card. Obviously with it being an easel card, we do always need a stopper, so I've taken that lovely sentiment, "You're my best friend."
Aww.
So sweet, isn't it?
It's really cute.
So you get that in the collection as well, within all your stamps, and then we're going to add that down the bottom as our stopper. And with it being an easel card and with it being a stopper for an easel card, we do need something 3D on the back of there. So we've got some of our foam pads onto that section there. And just to finish it off, we've got some detail on that left hand side, just to balance it a little bit more. We've got a bit of white space on that right hand side. So I've stamped that little bowl. Of course, again, it's included within the stamp set. We've just fussy cut that out, coloured it in using our tri-blends, same sort of colours as we use for the rest of the image, just to tie everything together. And we're going to add that onto that bottom right-hand side. Sweet little finishing touch, just a few foam pads onto there. A really simple, quite a small, cute little card, but how sweet does it look with those two little doggies onto
adorable.
there? How cute is that? I mean, imagine sending that from your dog sent it to you sort of thing, or you're sending it to your dog. How sweet is that? Super, super cute.
Absolutely gorgeous. Love the colours that you've used there. Really lovely. And so to show you the boards again, so this is the stamp that we've got here. So this is the paw prints, which is one that Lily just showed you, with the 3 different dies, so you can cut those different sort of over the edge, so left, right, and over in the middle as well. Then you've got this one, which is your birthday balloons. We do also have included in the bundle is Magical Wishes, which is the one with this unicorn that we've got here. We don't have that on an actual board at the moment. And then this last one is Hello Beautiful, with those butterflies there. So I'll show you a couple of samples of those two, so you can see the type of thing that you can create. So that is the butterfly one, Hello Beautiful, and then this one is Make a Wish. Magical Wishes rather. This is one with your beautiful unicorn on it. So really, really stunning. Fantastic price, £11.20 or $16. This is really well worth putting into your basket. The next thing we're going to show you is a Gemini MIDI. So if you've never had this before, you've already got your ordinary Gemini that you plug in. This one is it's a manual one, you just turn your handle. You get 50 bonus points with this. So if you are just on the cusp of one particular sort of grade in your Club Inspire, you can sort of move up with these extra 50 points. This is a great deal. So this is £48 or $78.40, and really useful to have. Now, even if you have already got an ordinary Gemini, most of us here, well, all of us here have our ordinary Gemini, and most of us have got a MIDI to go over the top, because they're really handy just to put through small things, if you might be doing sort of flowers, that kind of thing, rather than putting through the main Gemini. So this is worth popping into your basket as well. The normal price was £60 or $98, but platinum price would be £48 or $78.40. Then we also have some lovely Lee Holland cute character stamps. These are the little dragon ones. It's a 30% saving you've got here. These are absolutely gorgeous, really, really cute. I couldn't see from further away that they were all different types of dragons, but these are absolutely stunning. So this one here is Hello You. Then we have this one, which is From Me to You, with that great cake. And then you've also got Thank You as well, again holding a nice little gift here. So platinum price is £7.20 or $8.80. And Lily's going to do some demonstrations using these little dragons as well, aren't you?
Absolutely, these are so, so cute. I have to say, these dragons, there's something about them. They've always got like a little bit of a squishy look to them. You sort of want to just give them a little squeeze. But lovely artwork again from Lee Holland. We took a little look at some more of his artwork in this morning's Play Your Crafts Right. These are different stamps. These are just stamps. No dies within these, but they are lovely large size stamps. So you can see within the set, you've got your main image, and then you've got your sentiments as well to be able to decorate up your finished projects. So all we've done to start with is we've just taken this lovely little dragon. This is the Hello You set that you get, but you do get all 3 within that range. I can't believe £9 for 3. It's like, wow, crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely
yeah,
unbelievable value. And what we've done is we've stamped him out using a black alcohol-proof ink onto some of our Nina cardstock. It does look a little bit scruffy around the edges, but we are going to fussy cut it out, so I'm not too concerned about that at all. So we've stamped that onto there, and then all we're going to do is going to start colouring this using some of our tri-blends. I'd like to show you a technique. This is a technique that I absolutely love doing, and it sort of extends your pens even more. Perhaps you've not got loads and loads of your tri-blend pens. This is a perfect way to get even more shade. I say it time and time again, but your grey pens are some of the most important within your crafty stash when it comes to your colouring. And we're going to colour this full image with just two of our tri-blends, which is our brown grey blend and our dark red blend. And all we're going to do is going to take our brown grey blend to start with, and we're going to take our darkest tone, which is BG9. We're going to add this into the areas where it would be darkest on the image. So it's going to be around the edges, and we're just going to focus on his head, his cute little head to start with, and we're going to add this around the edges of the image. If we think about his face, it'd be exactly the same as if we were colouring a human face or any other animal. It's sort of rounded, almost like spherical in shape. And so to give that effect of light and shade and give that sort of rounded effect to this area, it's going to be darker at the edges, and then where the light is shining on the centre, it's going to be lighter. So we want our shading around the edges, and then in the centre we want that highlight to be there. So what we're doing is we're adding our grey just at the very edges like so. Don't go too mad, don't add too much onto there, just a little bit. And then what you can do is you can go in with your mid-tone and start to soften the edge a little bit if you want to, but you don't have to do that if you don't want. We will be blending it out as we come to add our colour onto there. Now you might be thinking at this point I'm going to be doing a sort of black and white image. At the top of the show we showed you that lovely sepia tone card using these images, but we are actually going to colour this in reds. So what we're going to do now, strange, grey to red. Yeah. We're taking our dark red blend, we're going to take our lightest within that 3-pen blend. I'm going to add this onto the areas of the image where it would be lightest. I'm just going to avoid these 3 little spots in the middle of his head. I don't want to colour those in. I'm going to keep those as a white sort of grey type colour, but with our brush nibs on here, taper to a really nice fine point, so I'm able to get into that detail with no problem at all. So in the lightest areas, we don't need to go all the way to the edges. I'm not too concerned about that, just making sure I've laid down enough colour onto the centre of here. I tend to work in circular motions to lay down that colour, just to get a really smooth, even sort of wash of colour onto there. It gives you a nice smooth blend as we lay down that lightest tone. So I'm going to go around there, and then that should be about enough for our lightest tone.
I love that colour.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
I didn't realise quite how, it's still quite a bright red, isn't it? Really? I know it says dark red, but from the top of the pen it looks very dark.
Yeah, I think the thing with your pens and the ends of them, because obviously it's plastic, we can never quite get the exact colour onto there, which is why I always recommend to do yourself a colour chart. So get yourself on the Spectrum Noir website. You can print off your colour charts for free from there. I always say fill in your colour chart so then you can see the true colours of your pens, because we can never quite get that accurate representation on the barrels. Well, it's a beautiful red colour, and we're going in just at the edges with our mid-tone, starting to blend that through. If you feel like you need to blend the lightest and that mid-tone, go back in like we did with that last card we created. Go back in with your lightest tone and just blend those two together if you feel you need it. But I feel I've got enough blend onto there. It's still looking, let's be honest, it's looking a little bit ropey at the moment, but we're going in now with our darkest tone, and what we're going to do is we're going to add this to the areas where it's going to be darkest, and at this point we're going to start to go over that grey that we added down at the very beginning. So I'm just taking a little bit of care to go around these areas where we've got the little spots. I'm just avoiding those so I can keep those white so we can colour them in later. And we're just going over the grey and slightly over that mid-tone that we've just laid down. You can see that we're starting to cover up that grey. We're getting to the point where you wouldn't really know that we'd added the grey tone underneath. We've just got that nice shading onto the edge there, and it's just a way by using your grey as almost like an undercoat, a bit like they do with oil paintings. Back when the old masters used to do all their oil paintings, they'd always start off with an underpainting to sort of map out the different colour tones and where the shading was going to be. And it's sort of a similar technique here. So you're starting off with that grey in the areas where it's going to be the darkest parts of the image. Then you go over with your colours, and you don't know that there's grey underneath, you just see it, there's shade onto there. So you can see we've got real depth of colour onto there. We'd still get lots of depth if we just use the 3 reds. We still get a fabulous result onto there, but by using the grey with the 3 reds, it's what allows us to get that real depth and dimension onto there. We're going to go in and going to colour some of the grey areas now. So we're taking that same brown grey blend, but this time we're starting off with the lightest within that 3 pen blend. And the same with these stamps that we were showing you this morning from Lee Holland. It gives you all of the clues, all of the shading is already there within the stamps. So all you really need to do is follow the lines. All the clues are there where the light and shade is going to be. I'm not having to think about it too much, and that really is sort of the trick with these, just following those lines. So here, where we've got almost like the ridges in his little tummy, we're just following those with our lightest tone, and then we're going to go in with our mid-tone within this blend, add this around the edges where his arm is. He's going to be casting a shadow underneath there. It's the same with where his leg is here, so it's going to be a little bit darker there. The area over the top is what's going to be in sort of in the light with the highlight. The area underneath with something overlapping it, a shadow is going to be cast onto that area, so it's going to be in shade. And then we're just colouring along those stripes to get that texture into his body. And then at the very edges, we're going to use that darkest tone within that 3 pen blend, not going over all of the area where we've added in that mid-tone, so we don't want to cover it all up, but just going over at the very darkest points is what's going to allow us to get that shading into there and that really realistic effect, because obviously dragons are absolutely real, so we need to get a realistic dragon. Then what we do is we carry on with that exact same technique. So the same technique that I'd used for the head, we've used it all over those areas. And of course I've chosen red, but you could be doing that same technique with the grey underneath with any colour tone at all. And then we've carried on colouring in the grey areas as well. And then we've just fussy cut around the edge. But you might be thinking the blue looks a little bit plain. I've actually left that blank because what I've done is I've taken some pattern paper, and this is actually from Subs Box 47 if you've got that at home, and I've stamped the image again, but just that area of the balloon. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to take a pair of scissors and I'm just going to cut around that edge of the stamped line that we've got onto here. I'm going to do a little bit of paper piecing. So rather than colouring in the full image, you can be paper piecing parts of the image. So you can colour bits in, paper piece bits in. It's not sort of one or the other. You can of course be doing both when you come to work with your stamped images. And just with this slightly more fiddly bit where that sort of tie of the balloon is, I'm just bringing in my really small precision scissors to allow me to get into all that detail. I find it easier if I've got a smooth curve like with the rest of the balloon. I find it easier to use my 6-inch pair of scissors. So like where I'm going around this curve here, I find it easier to get a smooth curve with my larger pair of scissors. But for the fine detail, your precision scissors are absolutely the way to go. So you saw how easy it was to cut that out. You could be adding some shading onto there if you want, but I don't think in this particular instance we need it. I think I'm happy with that. And then all I'm going to do, you can be decoupaging this up if you like, so you could be using some foam pads on the back of here, some 3D glue gel if you prefer, but I'm just going to stick it flat in this particular instance. I mean, you could be stamping multiple times, colouring in all the different layers and creating a really dimensional decoupage effect with these if you want, just to really bring them to life. But just with the flat layer, because we've got so much dimension and shading within that colouring, it looks dimensional without it actually being dimensional at all.
It's really effective.
Doesn't that look fab?
Yeah.
Just that point of difference with that paper piece balloon just makes it look that little bit different.
And very appropriate for now with the dragon, because the new Game of Thrones show is coming out.
Oh.
Is it this week or next week? Is it tomorrow? Yeah, which is supposed to be really quite spectacular. They're good reviews so far. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. I'll be working tomorrow when it's on, I suppose, or maybe it's just when we finish. So maybe just go back to the house and watch that. I might have to watch that. I think so. I do love a dragon. Lots of people messaging in about their animals, and we've got some photos that we'll show you a little bit later. Laura says, we We have two tortoises, one named Bruiser and the other called Delilah.
Oh, nice
And
name.
Susie, our social media superstar Susie, says we have some stray neighbourhood kittens. We've seen 4 or 5 over the last couple of months. I sent in some pictures of the little grey guy who's just adopted us. We feed him, but he is such a little love. He just wants to snuggle once he has a full belly.
Aww.
None of the other kittens or cats will come near us. That's so cute. I do love a little story about an animal, a happy story about an animal.
I do.
My sister had a tortoise. And he was called Speedy.
Oh, brilliant.
Because he was really, really fast. And they put him in the garden, he just disappeared. But he didn't last very long, he ran away.
Oh, bless.
Yeah. Ran away to be in the circus, as my dad always said to me. I don't think he did go to the circus, but he did run away, unfortunately.
Oh. So what we're creating with this is going to create a diorama card. So I've got a piece of multi-purpose card that is 7 inches by 7.5, and then we're using some more of that pattern paper that we did for our paper piecing. So our image is going to match all our mats and layers. We're adding that into that centre section there, and then we've taken another piece which is 7 inches by 9.5, and we've scored at 1.25 and then 2.25, and then we've done exactly the same on the other side at 1.25 and 2.25, and then we've just die cut an oval into the centre. This extra piece, we've used some red card and some of that same pattern paper, and we've used our inverted zigzag stitch oval dies into the centre, and we've added the frame over the top of there. So we're going to pop that over the top of our aperture just for a little point of difference. I do love my inverted nesting dies. I think they just give you a little bit more interest to your mats and layers and to your frames. And I chose the zigzag to sort of tie in with the lovely image. We've got sort of like the zigzag to his tail there.
Doesn't it?
Yeah, I thought it worked quite nicely. So we're adding that onto there. The aperture that I've cut into the actual card base is ever so slightly larger than the aperture we've got there, just because that means I basically don't have to line it up perfectly. Gives you a little bit of wiggle room, but from the front you wouldn't know that there's a larger aperture into the white piece. And then to decorate it up a little bit more, we've got a couple of panels. Again, it's that same pattern paper from Subs Box 47. If you do have that one, I think we've still got it on the website. It's a lovely edge stamp and die craft kit. But I had some of these papers left over, and I thought they worked really nicely with the lovely bright blue and red theme. And we're adding those to the edges of our card base. So the red one's about 1 inch in width, and then the centre one is about 3/4 of an inch in width. I tend to do my mats and layers in 1/4 of an inch increments, just to give you that nice thin mat and layer, and not too much colour showing, but just enough to really make that pop. Right. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add the two together by adding some tape onto those two tabs. So like I was showing earlier, when we created our other diorama card, I tend to do one side at a time, line that up, get that stuck down, and then do the other side. Just makes it a little bit easier, a little bit more manageable. You could be using your red liner tape for this, but a tape runner will work perfectly as well. But you do want something that's nice and strong, as this is sort of like the mechanism part of your card. So lining that up on that left hand side, once I'm happy with that, I'm going to do exactly the same on that other side, on that other piece. This is the tab that we've got at the very end, so the piece from the edge onto that score line. And then we're going to line up that edge with the edge of the back of that piece of our card base. Once we're happy that that is nice and straight and lined up, just take a minute to manoeuvre it into position. If you do struggle to get your mats and layers perfect first time, top tip would be to add a little bit of your tacky glue to the back of your tape runner. It just gives you that little bit of manoeuvrability, that little bit of wiggle time. Okay. And we're going to take our image and we're going to add that. I think I'm going to use some foam pads onto the back of here. So I'm just going to take a minute to decide where I need my foam pads. You could pop a little mark on the back. Can you see I stamped the image? I'll tell you what I did with this one. I stamped the image and I was still holding the ink pad, and I dropped the ink pad on the stamped image, but you wouldn't know from the front that we'd got this on the back. I thought, well, I'm not throwing the piece of cardstock away, so I just stamped on the other side. Yeah, holding the ink pad, and I was trying to put something away and I dropped the ink pad. I thought, oh, brilliant.
Oh dear.
Oh dear, but yeah, nobody would have known until this point here. But a few foam pads on the back of there is going to lift this up from our card base. I'm going to have him overlapping onto that aperture like so, just lining that up, so it goes across that area. And
I
then
love
to
those
finish
colours
it off,
together.
don't they work really nicely? I love red and blue.
Yeah.
I think they work so, so nicely. To finish it off, we're going to add one of our sentiments. Of course, that is from that stamp set as well. So we've got everything within that stamp set to be able to create our finished cards really, really easily. Another little foam pad onto the bottom of there. And by adding this on the top left, we've got that detail along that bottom right where our lovely stamped image is. By adding this onto the top left, it just balances it. And having them both overlapping that aperture sort of works with the harmony of this sort of card. It gives us that balance. But a nice concept card, something slightly different, but quite a simple design, just using some of your dies from your stash and your pattern papers, but alongside those fabulous stamps that we've got on today's show from Lee Holland. I absolutely love that little dragon.
Oh, he's very cute. They are all really cute. I think these are lovely stamps. They're going to be finding their way into my basket. And there's not Tracy here to tell me to stop buying everything that's on the show, which she does normally. And so this is your Hello You, which is the one that Lily has just used. And I love that idea about using stamping onto pattern paper for that little balloon element. This one is your From Me to You, which is the one with the cake. Which is the kind of cake I want for my birthday. You know, a multi-layered cake. It looks delicious. My birthday's been and gone, unfortunately. And this is Thank You. So fantastic price, £7.20 or $8.80 is your platinum price. This is a really, really good deal as well. They're just all really good deals. So check out your baskets. We're going to have a little break. You're going to get to know a little bit more about the lovely Craig.
My name's Craig Laird. I work at Crafters Companion. I am a craft expert where I get to play with lots of crafty goodies from Crafters Companion, and hopefully we're here to inspire you with lots of crafty things that you can do. So my crafting journey, that started many, many years ago, actually just over 20 years ago. I actually came across crafting on UK Shopping TV. I was unwell at the time, and I was just channel surfing, just having a look to see what was on TV, and then I came across who has now become my friend Dawn Bibby, and I thought, oh, quite like that bit of crafting that she's doing. I purchased some crafty goodies, and before you know it, here I am, all these years later, doing what I'm doing with Crafters Companion. So believe it or not, none of my family or friends are actually very creative. So the creative side in me has actually just progressed naturally. As I have progressed, I've become really good friends with many craft experts out there in the industry, and they're the ones that inspire me. Then coming to Crafters Companion, Crafters TV, and interacting with all the crafters at home, seeing what they make. I am a huge, huge advocate for social media because you get to see lots of things that everyone makes at home, and that does inspire me as well. Many years ago, before I started here at Crafters Companion, believe it or not, I didn't have a lot of confidence. I didn't go out a lot, I didn't do much. Now, with Crafters Companion and Crafters TV, it's given me so much confidence, self-belief. My biggest crafting success, I'm going to have to pick two. One of them is appearing on HSN America. I was really, really lucky a couple of years ago to actually go to Florida with Sarah to see how it all works behind the scenes. An incredible juggernaut that the Shopping TV is at HSN. That for me is an incredible proud moment. I will never ever forget when all of you incredible crafters at home voted enough for me to be in the running of the 2021 Male Craft Personality of the Year. Was such a humbling feeling. I was so, so proud. I was so grateful. Our Crafters TV audience are absolutely incredible. For me personally, it is personal interaction. I've never had the best of health. I've always been open about that with our viewers, and the support that I get. So many people are in the same situation as me health-wise, but if you just want that interaction, you just want to have that chat away about anything random in life, onto social media, onto Crafters TV, you know that you're going to get that support, you're going to get that understanding when it comes to the crafters at home.
Our craft experts come from all over the UK to HQ up in the northeast, and here they are telling you a little bit about where they're from and what it's famous for.
For the last nearly 30 years, just coming up for 30 years, I have lived in Nottingham, and that's where we still live, and I absolutely love it. Now, anybody that knows Nottingham knows it's famous for Robin Hood, and obviously I'm one of the descendants from Robin, because we're Robin's sons. So yes, I like to think that we are a descendant of Robin Hood somewhere along, obviously my husband's line.
Well, originally I'm from West Yorkshire, but I live in Norfolk at the minute, and Norfolk is beautiful. I think it's famous for the Broads, the Norfolk Broads. It is a beautiful holiday destination, and we moved there to be nearer to my mother and father-in-law, and oh, I just don't regret it. It's the most amazing place in the world.
So I live in Yorkshire. I'm actually based in Sheffield, which is one of the cities in Yorkshire, and I'm born and bred, absolutely. And the thing that it's most famous for, which if people aren't aware, is that we're known as the Steel City. So lots of steel industry in the past, creating Sheffield steel, of course, stainless steel. Some of them are still working. There are some of the foundries still down in the city centre, but I live right on the very outskirts, and I'm very lucky that I live in a rural part of the area. It's lovely and green, countryside, little picturesque village, and I wouldn't change it for the world.
Hello, welcome back. I hope you found that interesting. I was mesmerised. I find it really fascinating finding out where everyone else lives. No, I didn't know all of my crafty colleagues where they live, so it was nice to see. We do have this, which is what you've all been waiting for. This is your white multi-purpose card in A3. This launched yesterday. It was super, super popular. You've got 30 sheets here, 300 GSM. Platinum price is £10.39 or $11.96. You would have heard Lily saying earlier she's been waiting with bated breath for this and bought about 3,000 sheets yourself, didn't you, yesterday? Something like that.
Yeah, close enough.
So this is what we've all been waiting for, having some A3 card. This is really, really worth getting today, because it won't be here for too long, because we've got so many people wanting this. The next thing we've got are some of the stamp collections. This is really gorgeous. So these are, again, we're going with the whole animal theme. So these are all animal focus stamps. This first one is a perfect day with your cat and all of your little sentiments in there as well. Great for doing some of your colouring. Your next one is Pause for Thought with this lovely, I always call this a Dulux dog. Anyone that's the same kind of age as me would probably say that, call it the same thing, but it's kind of a sort of shaggy dog that you've got there, and great for using those pen nibs, like you're saying, with that brush nib that you've got there. This is your field mouse ones, so little field mouse, great for harvest time, harvest festivals, and that kind of thing coming into the fall. Catitude is our next one, which is absolutely gorgeous with those cat and the kitten and those sentiments there. Then Meadow Hare, which again, really, really pretty. Lots of options for this. I'm using this one for Easter, perhaps, maybe. Then we've got Fabulous Fox. I've got a friend I keep seeing on Facebook. She's always feeding her local fox. It's become very friendly. This next one is your Some Bunny Loves You. Oh, I think that one's gorgeous. Really, really cute. And then your final one is a little surprise. Whoops, which is a little... little surprise, jumping out the box, little cat jumping out the box. So this whole selection, 40 different elements, is only £13 or $17, or £10.40 or $13.60 platinum price. So really amazing price that we've got here. You're going to be using one of these stamps for your next demo, is that right?
Absolutely,
Which one are you going to use?
We're going to be using that lovely Meadow Hare.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
He's absolutely gorgeous, isn't he? So this is the stamp set we are going to be using for this next demonstration. So like Becky's just shown you, within each collection, not only do you get that main image, but you also get your sentiments and a few little embellishment stamps as well. I have to say, I love this font that we've got on the sentiments. It almost looks like you've taken a calligraphy pen or a brush script pen and you've handwritten them yourself. But of course, with your stamp, you'll get that perfect result every single time without having to have beautiful handwriting. What we're going to do with this particular image is we're going to do a little bit of a different technique with our stamping. So all I've done is I've taken a piece of Nina cardstock. In my stamping platform, I'm laying my stamp down like so. I'm just going to align the lid of the stamp platform over the top. But what I'm going to do now is I'm going to remove the base I'm going to come back to that in just a moment, and I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap paper. Then I'm going to take my Finesse alcohol proof ink pad, using our pebble one for this particular image, and I'm just going to gently, I say gently, I'm making a right racket here, I'm going to tap all over that image to make sure I've covered it with ink, getting into all that detail within all the stamp lines.
So this is like a very dark grey?
Yes,
Yeah.
I always call it a cross between a grey and a brown. It's got a slightly brown tone to it. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to stamp down onto our scrap paper just quite lightly. So I'm not going to apply quite as much pressure as I would usually. I can see I've missed a little bit there, so I'm going to stamp again. I'm going to move that to one side, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bring back in our piece of cardstock, our Nina. We're not going to re-ink, I'm going to lay it down, I'm going to stamp out almost like properly, if you like. So we're going to get into all that detail. We always call it like fingertip dancing, if you like. You don't need to use the palm of your hand, just your fingertips will be enough.
Okay.
And then with our stamp platform, have a little look and see we've missed a little bit of his ear. So we're just going to re-ink part of the ear. Everything, all the rest of the image is intact. But then we're going to quickly move that to one side. We're going to bring back in that scrap paper. We're going to re-stamp, but just lightly for that one. So basically what we're doing on our proper piece, if you like, our Nina card, we're doing a second generation stamp, and just check we've transferred that image. So if we look, I know we've not stamped it properly, but our first one, we can see we've got that crisp, I was going to say black line, but the pebble line, whereas on this second one, we've got a second generation, so it's quite muted. We can still see all the detail in there, but it's not really a strong line. And this is going to allow us to do a technique that we call no line stamping. So a lot of the time we stamp in black ink, or perhaps something that's almost black, like a grey or a dark brown, and we sort of rely on that line, we rely on the line of the image, and it's almost like we take the image and we fill in within the image. But with this particular technique, we don't really rely on the outline. So it's going to give us an effect almost like we don't have a line, which gives us a really, really interesting and different look to all our colouring. So again, I've got a piece of scrap paper just underneath where I'm working. I'm going to take my brown grey blend, and this is perfect. These sorts of stamps are absolutely perfect for a brush nib. And what we're going to do is we're taking our lightest tone, and we can see with that stamped image, it's not as crisp or anywhere near as dark as we would usually have when we do our stamping, when we use our first generation. So when we're stamping, when we ink up our stamp and we stamp out first time, that's what we call our first generation. And then if we don't re-ink that stamp, if we stamp out again without re-inking, that's our second generation, and then we can get our third generation, and so on and so on and so on. It depends how dark your ink pad is, as to how many sort of usable generations, if you like, you can get. I mean, if you've got a really dark black ink pad, you can sometimes go up to your fourth or your fifth generation. It's a great technique if you're building up some of your backgrounds, perhaps you're creating scenes where you've got foliage and you want to have sort of that look of perspective. So you might stamp perhaps your grasses in the foreground in that first generation, and then your second generation will be sort of like your mid-ground, where it's a little bit more muted, a little bit more faded, and then your third generation might be that very sort of background layer where you can just sort of see the stamped image onto there, but the line is not really strong. And it's a nice technique to use if you don't have lots of different colours of ink pads, maybe you don't have all the different tones of greys, but you still want that sort of difference in your colour tones. It's a great technique to use with your generation stamping, but like we're doing here, we're only using one of the stamped images, so we're using that second generation, and what that's allowing us to do is it allows us to get that really soft effect, and it looks almost, well, it looks very much like, by the time we've finished, like we've hand drawn the image and we've actually then sort of painted it ourselves. So we've still got enough of the depth of the colour into there that we can see where we need to add our shading, and we're going in with our mid-tone, we're basically just flicking. So we're relying on that brush nib, we're letting that brush nib work for us, and we're just filling in the areas like so. And then we're going to go in with our darkest tone within this brown grey blend, and this is where it really starts to come to life, where we almost lose that line around the edge. We've got enough of the line that we can see where we actually need to shade, but by the time we've come to put on this darkest tone, we've almost lost that lininess. While it allows you to be quite expressive with your colouring, I'm not worrying about going outside the lines because we can't really see where the lines are, and it gives you a really nice effect for an image like this. You've got a little bit of almost like a scruffy line, if you know what I mean. It's got,
so it looks more like you've drawn it yourself as opposed to just sort of colouring the stamp in.
Yeah, so it doesn't look like a coloured image. It looks like a fully completed image, if you like, that you've drawn, then you've perhaps painted it, and it gives you a really different effect. All I'm going to do with his eye, I'm just going to fill in his eye. You could use a black art liner, but I'm going to use our brush nib onto there. Just with it being such a fine point, you can still get that level of detail. I'm just going to go around the edges of his eye a little bit more just to define that detail even more. When it starts to build up that effect, like we've actually drawn this ourselves, so it looks totally different to sort of a traditional stamped image, where we tend to sort of colour it. So it's a weird one because it feels like we're not colouring in. It feels like we're adding colour over the top, if you know what I mean. Then we're going to do the same with the inside of his ears with our pale pink blend. So going down with our lightest colour within the 3 pen blend, just filling out that area, and then we're going in with our mid-tone. I'm going to add that into the centre like so, and again we've got some stamp lines at the edge, so that's giving us the clue that that's where the shading is, so we need to go over with our mid-tone just like so, and then we're going to go in with our darkest. Now the darker areas are going to be around here where that fur from his ear is sort of overlapping and casting a shadow onto the pink inner part of his ear. That's where it's going to be darker, and that's where we're going to get this shade, and we're going to add in this darker tone. If we feel like that needs a little bit more blending from the mid-tone to the darkest tone, we're just going to go back in with our mid-tone and just blend that out. I'm going to do a similar thing on his nose, just add a little bit more colour onto his nose. So we're going to go in with the mid-tone and your darkest tone around the edges, just to give a little bit of shading. And then onto his eye, this is what's going to really bring his eye to life. We're just going to add a little bit of our true blue blend around the edges, like so. We'd carry on doing the same technique with his body, but I'm just going to show you onto the grass how we'd achieve the sort of flicked effect on the grass. And your brush nibs are absolutely perfect for all of your foliage and your grasses and your ferns and things like that. It's going to give you that lovely flicky effect. So we're using our light green blend. Oh, it's so hard to say the words of these tribals. Anything with blending and you've got several words together, it's ever so hard to say. And we're going in with that lightest colour tone, and all we're doing is I'm flicking from the base upwards. Now, different people flick in different ways. Some people will find it easier to flick in one direction. I can't flick downwards. I find it really, really hard to flick downwards. I find it a lot easier to flick upwards. But some people find it easier to flick in the opposite direction. It's just about finding what's basically most comfortable for your hand. If you do have one of our Totally Tiffany rotating design boards, those are absolutely perfect for all of your colouring, rather than you manoeuvring your wrists around and trying to colour in an unnatural position. You can just use your rotating design board, and it makes it so easy to colour with. But we're just going over that grassy area. I'm going to add a little bit under his feet, and you can see how easy it is to lay down this colour when we've got our lovely brush nib. Just makes laying down that colour a breeze, but we can still get into all those fine details. You can see there's quite a lot of intricate detail within these stamps, which is what makes them look absolutely gorgeous. And then what we're going to do is we're going to go in with our mid-tone. I'm going to add this underneath where his feet are. It's going to be darker where he's sitting. It's going to be casting a shadow where his feet are. And then we're just following some of those stamp lines. And we can see we're starting to get rid of that line that the stamped image has left down already. So it's starting to give us that more painterly effect onto there. And then finally, just to finish that off, we're going with our darkest tone within this 3 pen blend. I'm going to add this into the areas where it would be the very darkest, so where the most shadow is, onto there. Just
lots
flicking.
of people loving this hair. Pammy says, I love this hair. He was one of my first purchases directly from CC as opposed to HSN. And Wendy says, I just love these hairs. We have hairs jumping around in the fields near the coast. Oh, it's lovely. I like that idea.
Oh, sweet, isn't it?
I do like a hare or a rabbit.
Yes, I do. I think they're lovely. And like you said earlier, they're perfect for summertime, for your Easter cards perhaps. But all we'd do is we'd carry on using that same technique, that no lines colouring technique, and we've coloured in the whole image. So you can see it's just the same technique that we've already looked at. How impressive does that look all over the image?
That's really good.
You can't really see the fact that it was a stamped image. You might have thought that I've drawn that in a pencil and then just gone over the top and actually painted it in rather than using a stamped image and your tri-blends. And what we've done is we've just cut around the edges using our little snippy scissors, our precision scissors. We've just cut around the edge to give us that that fussy cut. And I tend to leave about 1 or 2 mil border around the edge just so you've got that little bit of white onto there. Then we're going to actually create another diorama card, but a little bit different to our last one. So what we've done is we've taken a piece of our legendary multi-purpose card. 6.5 inches by 7.25 is our back piece. And then I've got some pattern paper, and I believe this paper pad, if I'm right, is in the penny sale. This is our everyday scenes. So I've got this lovely design. It looks like it's an oil painting on a canvas, the design onto here. I've taken that from the 8x8 inch pad and I've just chopped it down. So it's going to go in the centre of our back piece. I'm going to leave that to one side, and we've taken another piece of multi-purpose card, which is measuring 6.5 by 9.25, and we've scored at 1.25 and 2.25, and the same on that other side. And I've taken some of our pattern paper. This is from our Sarah signature Country Lane 12 by 12, and I've added that onto that centre panel. And what I tend to do is I tend to glue the matting layer onto my card base first, and then die cut the aperture through those 2 layers. You will be able to get through the 2 layers using a standard die in your Gemini machine with no problem at all. It basically just saves you having to line up the 2 die cuts. If you were to cut the 2 layers separately, you'd then have to line them up. It's a lot easier just to cut them both at once, so you know they're going to be lined up perfectly. So a couple of panels just for the left and the right hand sides, just to decorate this up a little bit more and bring that pattern paper from that centre section into those 2 outer sections. And then what we're going to do is we're going to stick the 2 together. So like we did with the last card, tape onto one side at a time. And then once we've stuck that, we're happy it's nice and central and in position exactly where we want it, then we will stick the other side. I don't think there's really a right and wrong way to this paper. I think maybe that way is slightly better, but I don't think it matters too much. And I always like that when we get pattern papers that are sort of, what do they call it, unidirectional, I think they call it. Because it means that you can get more from your paper pads. When you can use them in any direction, you can use your scraps a lot more effectively, which, as a paper pad hoarder and someone who doesn't always like cutting into my paper pads and use them if I don't have to, it's always a good thing to get.
Do you keep even the tiniest pieces?
Oh gosh, Becky, I am terrible, absolutely terrible. And it gets to the point, some days I'll go into a paper pad and at the front I'll have like all my scraps, and I'll look at some of them and I'll even have to tell myself off. I'll say, Lily, why have you kept, and it'll be probably about that sort of size. And I'll go, Lily, why have you kept that? But then I'll go, but I might want to use it, and it'll go back in there, and it, you know, never ending, is it? It's just, yeah, I just love my paper pads too much that I don't like throwing anything away. But when
if you throw it away, then the next time you wanted to make something, you'd be like, oh, I know, I've just got that. Nope, I threw that away last time.
Exactly. And when that happens once, it's like once bitten, twice shy. Then you never throw anything away ever again. So yeah, I am a terrible hoarder.
You're making it sound like you're a bit of a hoarder, Lily.
I am for papers.
Really?
Yeah. I just love my pattern papers. So I have to have them all, and I have to have them now, and I have to have 3 of each paper pad. And that Sarah signature Frosty and Bright, I do have 3 of the 12 by 12 pads from that one. I do like that.
You're just going to keep one to stroke?
Well, yeah, and to sniff. I'm a terrible paper sniffer, I have to say. Got to smell all your papers. It's true what they say, you can smell the quality, which I know sounds daft, but if you are a paper pad addict like me, you'll know what I mean. It's a sign of a good quality ink. So all I'm doing is I'm just doing a bit of quality control, is what we will call it. Well, we're going to add our lovely hair to this, just sort of overlapping the aperture. It's almost like he's looking out. We've got the sky behind, starting to build up that perspective onto there. Then to finish it off, of course, we've got one of the sentiments that's also from the stamp set. This is Best Wishes. We've die cut a circle just to keep that sort of circular theme going. We've got the circle aperture, and then we're adding this. This is actually a piece of that same pattern paper that we used on the inside. We're going to add that onto the top right, I think, using a foam pad just to give it a little bit more lift. We've got our lovely hair on with the foam pad, so we're going to add foam pad onto there like so, just to anchor it into position. Once we know exactly where that's going to be stuck, we take another foam pad and just lift that up ever so slightly, making sure that we've not got it overlapping the edge of the card. Add that onto there like so, and that would be our finished card. Nice and easy to put together. Just a little bit of a different technique with our no lines colouring, but how fab does he look onto our diorama card?
There's lots and lots of comments, loads of people saying, Lily is so talented from Suzanne. Wendy, amazing colouring. Mary Beth, so talented. I love to watch her colour. Deborah says, hi everybody. Watching Lily colour while I'm colouring gnomes. Suzanne says, I do the same, Lily. Can't seem to throw any away. I think about the paper. Christine Mahoney said, did someone say paper addict? We all know Christine is a paper addict.
She's a girl after my heart, honestly.
Absolutely. So let's have a quick look at these stamps again. The first one is a little surprise. This is the little cat jumping out of a box, cat in a box. Then we have the Some Bunny Loves You, very, very cute one here. Then we have the Fabulous Fox, the Meadow Hare, which is the one that Lily has just used now. Then we've got Catitude, which I think is gorgeous. Field Mice, great one for the fall. Perfect Day, this one here. That lovely big cat. And then the last one is Pause for Thought with that lovely dog. So £10.40 or $13.60 platinum price. We've had loads of pictures. So let's have a look at the pictures. So this one's from Betty and her cat Molly. Oh, that's cute, isn't it? Oh, I love that. So we were all saying about animals that have been rescued. So that's a national, I think it's homeless animal or animal welfare. Next one is from Laura. My goodness, how many dogs are there? 3 dogs. It's like Spot the Dog. So many of them. And does that mean that that's the dog sofa and you have to sit on the floor? That's what I imagine it might be. This is Susie's stray cat. Oh my goodness, look at that little kitten. Oh, that's so cute. Very, very sweet. That's from Susie. Then we have Luna from Pam. This is a Basset hounds with Luna, George, and I can't remember what the other one was called. Lucy. Luna, George, and Lucy. Look at them. There's Pam. Oh, from Pam. No, so these are all from Pam. Look at George. That's just like George in the gallery today. I imagine that's how he's sitting. Isn't that how you're sitting, George? Gorgeous, lovely. Well, it's lovely to see your pets, so I very much enjoy it. Please send some more in, let us know what your pets are doing. We're going to have a little break, so check out your baskets and we'll see you in a few moments.
Welcome to Club Inspire, the crafters companion community where you can feed your crafty obsession. Join our fantastic loyalty club today and receive 20% off your first order. We'll also give you 250 points to help get you started. Other benefits of joining Club Inspire include exclusive special offers and discounts for Club Inspire members only, exclusive sneak peek previews of brand new product launches, and of course the Club Inspire community group on Facebook, where you can access exclusive content such as downloads, offers and inspiration, and of course you can chat and share your makes with other members. You'll receive 1 point for every £1, dollar or euro you spend, and the more points you receive, the more benefits you'll unlock. So what are you waiting for? Sign up, join the club and start rewarding yourself today.
We're having a quick cup of tea. The next item, sorry about that. do apologise. Caught us unawares. I'm just getting ready. We've had some beautiful things on the show today, but we've also got some twirling characters next, which I think make really fabulous cards. That was really random, wasn't it? This one is your twirling bee. So you're going to be getting the die to make out this aperture, as well as your little sort of foliage here and your bee. So you would cut out the bee here, and then you would put some cotton in between it, and then you twist it round, and then as you sort of twist it and you put everything in the envelope, as you pull out the card, everything will twirl around. So it makes a really beautiful card, fantastic for children. So that's number one. Then we've got twirling unicorn, which is the same thing again, but this unicorn you can use for so many different things. I think you'd really get a lot of use out of that, as well as that gorgeous little rainbow. And then we've got twirling butterfly. Again, you've got this aperture, as well as you've got those little butterflies that you can use here. So these are a brilliant deal, really, really brilliant deal. 75% off on this. So platinum price is £4.79 or $5.97. So again, you know, we're giving you all the best deals, but these ones I remember looking at when they first came out, and I thought they were gorgeous then. You know, I'm glad I waited, and I can now pop them into my basket now. We do have our penny sale on the show, so if you have a look at the website, you will see there's all sorts of different items that you can purchase, and once you've bought them, you can then buy another item for just £1. And as Lily was saying, there's quite a few paper pads on there, so a great opportunity for you to sort of boost up your paper pad addiction. If you're like Lily, you might want one just to smell. So have a look on the website there. And we also have our Riddle Me This promotion on as well. So we've got a riddle for you. You need to find out what the item is, then go to our website, pop it into the search bar, then look at the website for that particular product, and it will show you an absolutely stonking deal that we do have on that particular item. So the riddle, if you haven't already worked out what the product is, I'm a collectible surprise you just cannot miss. I'm jam-packed with projects and colourful bits. Watercolour, rainbow bright, sparkle and more. Pick up your favourite to sketch, colour and draw. What am I? Anyway, just a little clue there for you, if you haven't already got it. But we're going to go to Lily for another demo. 20 characters this time?
Absolutely.
Let me guess. B.
No.
Oh.
Oh, and one more guess.
Unicorn.
Yeah.
Yes. One more guess. There's only three of them to choose from.
I was actually torn whether to use the bee or not, but then I saw the unicorn. I thought, oh, pink and purple and sparkle.
Why not?
Be done. You know, I do love my pinks and my girly colours. So we are working with that fabulous twirling unicorn. Lovely set of both stamps and dies. So not only are you getting the dies that will match the stamps, but you also get this really useful die, which is what's going to create your aperture. Of course, you don't have to use this particular die. If you've got other dies in your stash, you can be using those to create your apertures to have the twirling element in, but it's nice to have that included as well. And of course, you can be using that in your other crafting all year round for lots of other projects as well. So what we're going to do is we're going to start by using our stamps, and we've got our unicorn stamps within this particular set. And what you'll notice is you get sort of a front and a back, and you get your sentiments as well that you can build up, and you get some accessories as well, and you get a matching die to that lovely rainbow too. So you have your, like I say, the front side of your unicorn and your reverse side. What I'm going to do is I'm going to start by stamping my sort of face on front of our unicorn onto some Nina cardstock. So using my stamp platform, laying my stamp side down onto my Nina, then just pressing down on my stamp platform to pick up that particular stamp onto the lid. And then if we take our black alcohol proof ink pad and just ink all over that unicorn, just like so. And then we're going to turn our stamp platform over and then just stamp out the image, just using my fingertips to transfer that ink from the stamp onto our cardstock underneath. Have a little look if you've missed a bit. Perhaps I've missed it when I've inked, so I've not quite inked up to the very edge. With the beauty of using our stamp platforms is our stamp's not moved, our cardstock stayed in exactly the same place because we've used our couple of magnets onto there, so we could just re-ink and then re-stamp back down again. Just making sure I press down on that left-hand side and we've filled that in perfectly. That's why I love
before the
using
stamping platform, you had no chance really of being able to match it up, did you?
I mean, we used to have a go, but honestly,
Yeah.
who could ever hover over the top of the stamped image and get it lined up first time?
Yeah,
It was
impossible.
Nah, we'd try, but it was no, it was gone. That was it. It was like reverse piece of cardstock was going to have to be used. But with our stamp platform, we've now got that perfect stamped image. These are perfect for using with your smaller machines, so like your MIDI that we've got on today's show. These, with the size of them, will fit through your smaller machines. They'll even fit through your mini as well as your MIDI. So great if you are crafting with the kids, or if you've just got a small machine, perhaps you're crafting on the go, then these will be perfect for use with those smaller manual machines. So it's easy to line up our dies with our stamps. So just lining up and rotating it around until we've got that sort of in the very centre, our dies in the very centre of our stamped image like so, and then we're just going to run that through our die cutting machine. Now, one of those questions that we get time and time again when you've got matching stamps and dies, do I die cut first and then stamp, or do I stamp first and then die cut? Not always a straightforward answer. I tend to, when I can, like I've done now, I tend to stamp first and then die cut. I just find it easier. However, little caveat, there's always a but, isn't there? With these, what I will tend to do, so with this front image like we've got here, stamp first and then die cut. However, when it comes to using the reverse image, you can see this one that we've not stamped, I will die cut first and then stamp, because
Right.
you can't, because it's the reverse, although it's the same die, if you were to stamp first, you'd have to be trying to die cut from the other side of the piece of cardstock.
Right, okay,
And
yep,
you'd need
see
a
what you
light
mean.
box and stuff like that. So for the front side, stamp first and then die cut. For the reverse, die cut first and then stamp. But what I've done with this particular card, and what I tend to do with these twirling characters, is I won't use just the one piece. I'll do two separate pieces, because we want to sandwich our ribbon or our thread or whatever we might be doing the sort of twirling mechanism with, because we want that thread in the middle. I'll do two. I'll sandwich that thread in the centre and then stick them together.
Yeah.
But you, of course, like we've got with our character front and back tags, you can do them on just the one piece. So it's up to you, but if you do want to sandwich something in between, then you will want your two separate pieces. So I'm going to start colouring this image in, and again using our lovely tri-blends that we've got on today's show, and this time we're using our ice grey blend. Of course, you could really go to town when you're colouring in your unicorns. Let's be honest, no sort of rules really apply.
No, because we always assume that unicorns are just white with multicoloured manes and tails, but actually many unicorns I've seen are different.
I mean, yeah, I see a lot of unicorns of lots and lots of different shapes, sizes, designs, you know, it could be polka dot, you could be drawing little love hearts all over the body.
Yeah.
I mean, really, just sky's the limit. Let your imagination go a little bit mad with these if you want. I mean, rainbow unicorns will look fabulous. Perhaps you've got our retro rainbow 12 by 12 inch pad. That would look fabulous as a backing papers for images like this. I'm going quite tame with my unicorns. I'm going for ice grey for the main part of the body. Then we're going to bring in some nice colours for the mane. But all I would say is, obviously you've got your front and your back piece for our unicorn. So just use whatever colours you use on that front section, just use exactly the same on the back to build up your design. So I'd go in with my grey like so, just adding the shading onto there. They're really easy to colour with them being quite small designs. And then what I've done is I've just used blue turquoise blend, pink violet blend and pale pink blend to colour those two images in. So I'll leave them to one side for just a moment, and then I've also taken that lovely rainbow stamp that we've got within the collection. You do also get a matching die for this one, and with this particular image I did stamp and then die cut like I do usually. And we're just going to take our blue turquoise blend, I'm going to shade that top area of the rainbow, so to give it that sort of arched effect, to make it look like a realistic shaped rainbow, I'm adding the darkest at the edges, and then we're going to have the highlight in the centre of this particular arch. And then for the middle one, I'm going with my pink violet blend, so it's the exact same colours that I've used for my unicorn as I'm using for this particular image, just to get everything sort of tying together colour wise nicely. And then again at the edges, the very bottom, we're going to add that darkest Pentone. Then finally, for the bottom section, we're going to use our pale pink blend, lightest in the centre. Towards the edges, we're going to go with our mid-tone, leaving that lightest area in the very centre, and then at the edges, the darkest tone like so. And then just to finish it off, we always say don't leave white areas just blank. You always need some sort of shading onto there. It's funny because adding in colour actually makes your white areas look more white, which doesn't really make any sense, but once you sort of see it, it does absolutely work. So we're using that same grey that we use for the actual unicorn's body, our ice grey blend, and then just shading at the edges. Nothing particularly complicated. These are really easy images to colour in. Perhaps you've never really done much colouring in before and it's something you want to have a little go at. These are going to be a great place to start and to sort of build up your confidence. And that's our rainbow, really easily coloured in, and I've just done that once more with another of the rainbows. But we're going to leave our stamped images to one side for just a moment, and we're going to bring in our card base. So all I've done is I've taken some of my Centura Pearl Fresh White, I've cut it down to 5 by 15 inches, and I've scored at 5 and 10, so I've basically got 3 sections. And on this front section, I've just used one of my matte and layer dies to cut an aperture into there. And then I've got some pattern paper. This is again from that Everyday Scenes paper pad, which I do believe you will find in the penny sale. So if you are wanting to stock up on this one, I must say I'm loving these papers at the moment. Then you will find that on the website. We've cut this lovely, almost like gingham check design, and then we're going to matte and layer it onto this nice
I'm sure
pink
Ben's
card.
got a shirt like that.
Oh, he does, doesn't he, actually? I wonder if they designed
Maybe that's
the
where
paper.
Leanne's been getting the inspiration from. Maybe there should be a paper pad, Ben's shirts.
Oh my gosh, maybe they should.
Yeah.
Hey, that email will be sent out first thing Monday morning, don't you worry.
Let us
I've
know
got an
if you'd
idea.
be interested in buying a paper pad called Ben's shirts.
Yeah, I
We
think
can
we could
take
have
our inspiration
Hawaiian
from
print.
Ben's outfits. Maybe ones with little bow ties on.
Oh, that would be really cute, actually. I mean, we do always say we need stuff for men's cards.
Yeah,
and I think
we
that
do.
would definitely fill a gap. I like the idea. So what we've done is we've matted and layered the 2 pieces together, and then we're taking that aperture die. It's almost like a pennant style shape that we get included within our stamp and die set. We're laying that into the centre of there, and again it's going back to that thing that I've said time and time again, it feels like today, where you can actually cut your 2 layers of cardstock at a time. We've got one layer of card, 1 layer of paper, so you should be fine with your Gemini and a standard thin metal die to cut through those 2 layers at once. So we're going to cut our aperture into this matte and layer, and this is going to be the front section of our card where we're going to hang our little twirling character. So of course a little bit of low tack tape on either edge of there, just to make sure that doesn't move when we run it through our die cutting machine. And we're going to get it lined up nicely like we have, like so. And then this is going to go over the front section, but we want to sandwich our thread underneath there so we don't see it. So we'll leave that to one side for just a moment. We've got the same pattern paper and the same matte and layer that's going to be our base. Oh, my tape pen's gone.
Oh no, that was
no.
me using it earlier today, wasn't it?
Yeah, we'll blame that on Becky. Oh, we haven't got another one, so we're just going to go for our dotty one. But not to worry, not the end of the world. If I was at home, I'd probably be using my all-purpose glue for my mats and layering, but just for a little bit of speed, we'll use our tape runner. We're going to add that to the base of our card, just like so. And then it's going to stand like an easel card like this, so we want some design in that back piece. So another piece of paper from that same Everyday Scenes paper pad, we're going to add this onto this back panel here, so we're going to see it through the aperture. So we're just going to lay that into that middle piece like so, and then we're going to bring this into play, but we're going to sort of get our thread onto there first of all. So what we're going to do, you can use your invisible thread if you want that sort of invisible look to these, but we want to actually make a feature of that hanging element. So in this instance we're using some pretty pink ribbon as our sort of dangling element to our twirling card. So with it being ribbon, red liner tape is a good one to go for. It will stick nicely onto there. So we're going to line that up onto the centre of there, just making sure it won't jut over the top of our matte and layer yet. We should be fine with that. And then we're going to bring in our 2 unicorns. So we'll have one over the front and then we'll stick the other one on the reverse. So I think I'm going to add my tape onto my ribbon. I think that'll be the easiest way to do it. And then we're going to stick the front-facing unicorn over the top, and then we're going to line up our other one on the reverse.
So you could use ribbon or thread.
Yep,
or
absolutely.
Fishing line, if
Yep.
that's what you wanted to do.
Yeah, totally up to you what you want to use. But in this instance, we're actually going to make a feature, like I say, of the ribbon. It's quite often we think of just using our invisible thread, but you can have it more of a decorative feature if you like. So we've lined up that front one and then just flip it over. And all I'm going to do is I'm going to add some of my red liner tape over the top of that ribbon. With it being a fabric ribbon, red liner tape is a good one to go for, just for a little bit of strength where you've got that with it actually being fabric. But then around the edges where it's just cardstock, I'm going to take our other unicorn. So this is the reverse. I'm just going to add some of our tacky glue just around the edges, and that's going to give us a little bit of wiggle room. I'm going to add a little bit of tacky glue onto the back of our tape, onto there, just so we have a moment to manoeuvre this into position, so we've got it lined up nicely over the top. But you can see obviously it's the same die, so it's nice and easy to get that lined up over there. Flip that back over onto the front, and then we're going to add our matten layer onto that front piece where we've die cut our aperture using that die that we get within the collection. And just take care, we only want tape at the very edges of this piece. Obviously we've got that square aperture in the middle. Reason being that I used a square for that aperture in this piece, again it's that going back to using a slightly larger aperture, just so that I don't have to line up the die cut. Of course I could have used that same die to die cut the aperture, but then that would mean that I'd have to stick it perfectly central and line it up, which is a little bit too much like hard work. We'd much rather be crafting. So that's why I've used that onto there. Then we're going to need a stopper, with this being an easel. So I've used some of the sentiments that we get within our collection, and I love the fact that we've got sort of mix and match sentiments, so we can build up our own sayings and our own sentiments. You've got different options as to how you can build those, so it gives you even more versatility with these collections. And then we're going to add that onto the bottom there. Then just to finish it off, we've got our lovely little clouds that we coloured in earlier. So we're going to bring in some foam pads just for a little bit of dimension onto these, and we're going to stick those top and bottom just to finish off our design. So I'm going to have a foam pad onto there. By using our foam pads, it's just going to give us that extra little bit of dimension to make these really stand out. So we'll have one, I think, up there. I think we're going to overlap our aperture ever so slightly, and then we'll have one down there on the bottom right, just like so. And then that gives us a lovely easel card design. Finishing touch, I almost got a lovely little ribbon bow just to finish it off, to add to this top section. Same ribbon that we used for our hanging element. Pop that over, almost like the join there, just to finish it off. It gives us a really sweet, nice girly card using our fabulous twirling characters. But how pretty does that look?
That's gorgeous. I love your use of colours. You always pick up the best colours. It looks absolutely gorgeous. Wonderful. So to recap, so let's show you what's in this pack. We've got the twirling bee. So you've got all of those little dies in there. So you've got the aperture die, you've got the die for some embellishments, and you've also got the die for the actual bee. Then you have your twirling unicorn, which is the one you've just seen, with your stamps as well, and also your twirling butterfly. Amazing value here, £4.79 or $5.97 if you're in the Club Inspire. Really, really good deal. Now, the next thing we're going to have a look at is the MIDI. So if you don't already have a MIDI or a sort of manual die cutting machine, these are really great. Lots of us have these and we stick them on top of our normal Gemini machine. It just means that while you're running your Gemini through with something else, you could easily be sort of hand cranking it effectively to cut things out. They're great for small dies as well. So if you're going to be doing lots of flowers or something like that, these are really fantastic for you to have. Platinum price is £48 or $78.40. So again, you're going to get 50 free bonus points with this. So if you are just on that cusp of moving up into the, from gold to platinum, perhaps you want to get this and boost yourself up so you get a few more points. The other thing we want to show you is the incredible, what everyone wants, the A3 card. So this is your white multi-purpose card, A3 size, which everybody has been wanting. This is 30 sheets, 300 GSM. We launched this yesterday. It has been really, really popular. It won't be here for long because this is what we've all been waiting for a really long time, particularly Lily. The price for this is $12.99 or $14.95. Platinum price is £10.39 or $11.96. Then we've also got the Lee Holland stamps and die set that we showed you earlier this morning. These are the really gorgeous, almost kind of, what would we say? Almost like your kind of woodland creatures. So this is Spring Has Sprung. So you're going to be getting all of these different dies over here. You'll be getting all of these stamps as well. So you can see what they look like. If I pull them over, it's probably better to see it in that way. Round. So that is your Spring Has Sprung. Then your next one is On Your Special Day. So these are the little mice characters getting married. Then the next one here is your Birthday Wishes, which has got all those sort of birthday embellishments on there. So you've got the sort of woodland creatures and their bunting. Great idea for all sorts of different things for scrapbooking, and there's just such gorgeous little characters. And then this one is Family Time. So all 4 sets here. So all those different elements you're going to be getting in there for £21.60 or $28.80. So we're going to have some viewers' pictures of your pets. So this is Rhonda's cat, Shadow. This is gorgeous. Look at that beautiful cat. Lovely. I used to have a black cat, and I miss my black cat. Although when my black cat stood on the staircase, you could never see her. It's one of those things. And then the next one we've got is Barbara's cat called... The black one is Tiny Mary, and the ginger one is Maryland. Oh, I love that. They're so cute. Oh, I love a little kitten. They're gorgeous. Lovely. Oh, they've been hiding. Lots of people quite like the idea of having a Ben's shirt paper pad, and also Joe's shirts. Joe often has shirts with fruit on them. I've noticed they're all sort of fruit orientated. Lenny was saying, I was thinking Joe's jumper that has everyone guessing, and Craig and Ben's Hawaiian shirt patterns. Yeah, that would be really good. Miriam said, lovely cards, so adorable, Lily. Suzette says pretty. Shannon, very cute card, Lily. We'll have to try it out. Natty, very cute card, Lily. Lovely card, Lily. And it's mesmerising watching Lily, says Mary Beth. So look, yeah, everyone's loving your cards today, Lily. So we've got one more demo to do. What are you going to be using in this demo?
We're going to be using the Lee Holland cute stamp and dies.
Lovely, excellent.
Yeah, absolutely. So just getting my pieces together, deciding how we're going to pop this card to, I say doing a card, we're actually going to do a little box, so something a little bit different with this particular one. So what we're going to do to start with is we're going to take some of the lovely stamps that we've got within the collection. So taking some of our Nina cardstock, and all we're going to do is, I think I'm going to choose a different set for this particular one. So I'm going to go for our lovely birthday wishes. And you can see within the stamp set, it's the same with all of them within this collection, all of the sets. You get both your stamps and you get your dies included as well. So perfect to be able to actually cut out your stamped images. So all I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how easy it is to actually work with these. So we're going to take this cute little character here, and then we're going to take the matching die. Sometimes it can take just a moment to sort of work out which one is which, but I think, yeah, that's him. Just to find out which one's going to line up with which particular piece. And then we've got a piece of our Nina cardstock. So we're going to bring in our stamp platform. So take the lid off and then take our magnets to line that up. And it goes back to what I was saying earlier about our stamping and our die cutting and what we do first. With these, I definitely do my stamping first. So we're just going to line that up onto there like so. And then I'm going to use my Pebble alcohol proof ink for this particular image. And then we're just going to stamp, ink him up with our Pebble ink onto there like so. And then we're just going to turn our platform over and then just transfer the ink from our stamp onto our cardstock, you can see first time we get an absolutely perfect stamped image. Look how crisp that stamps onto there, absolutely perfect. And you can see within the set we've got not only the characters, but we've got the sentiments, we've got that bunting that's going to be making another appearance in this particular project. I think that bunting is so useful. You'll be using it time and time again. So we've got our stamped image onto there. So we're just going to move our stamp platform out of the way for just a moment, and then we're going to bring in our die cutting plates. So again, these will fit through your smaller machines, which is perfect if you are picking up that brilliant MIDI on that lovely bonus point offer today. Great offer on that one. Do just make sure though you are getting the right item number on the website, the one with your bonus points. It will say in the description, but just make sure. We all want our extra points, let's be honest. So just make sure you're picking up the right one. And then we're going to line our die up over the top. Again, a little bit of low tack tape on either side of there, just like so. And then we're just going to, I've got my plates the wrong way around. You need your clear cutting plates, top and bottom always. And then we're just going to run that through our die cutting machine, just like so. That's going to go through our die cutting machine, and it's going to cut our stamped image out perfectly first time. So it saves us having to fussy cut the image out, which makes it an awful lot easier when we are doing our stamping and our die cutting. So if we turn this over, by lining that die up, and just take care, always like I said earlier, try and tape on the waist if you can. You can see we've got that perfect even border all around the edges of this stamped image every single time. And it doesn't matter whether you've stamped this 100 times or it's the first time you've ever used these. Perhaps you've never used matching stamps and dies before, then these will still be super easy for you to work with. Nothing difficult at all with lining these up. With them being, you can see they're not solid dies, they're just outline dies, which means you can see through. That's what allows us to do our stamping first and then our die cutting afterwards. So I'm bringing in my piece of scrap paper just because I'm going to be colouring with my alcohol pens. And I'm going to start off with my tan blend, I think. We're going to go with our lightest colour tone, and we're going to go all over this lovely little character. So again, we're using our tri-blend brush pens. Very difficult to say. Not easy to say, but easy to colour with, that is for sure. A nice little strapline. That sounds like something Ben would come out with, wouldn't it?
Lily, you seem to be very tidy crafter. Are you a tidy crafter at home?
It depends how busy I am. If I'm super busy, I mean, last night it was a little bit like a bomb had hit my craft room. Let's be honest, yeah, it was like stuff everywhere. And there was just piles, and then one thing falls off the pile, and then it was like dominoes. Everything was all over the floor. But I try and be... See, the thing is, I know where everything is. Whether anyone else would look at it and think it was organised is a totally different matter. But it's organised enough that I can work in it.
It's organised chaos.
Yeah, it's just a lot of stuff. Let's be honest. I mean, when I'm saying I'm buying 3 of the same paper pad, you can probably imagine how many paper pads there are, left, right and centre. I do love a paper pad, especially a 12 by 12. We were having a little sneaky peek, me and Debbie Robinson, of some new ones that are coming for birthday. Yeah, oh my goodness. There was a lot of oohing and ahhing, I can tell you. Oh. Yeah, very exciting.
So I'm not often in to see when the new stuff comes in. I get my stuff for Softcraft comes in the post, but sometimes I don't see the paper pads. But the other week I was here when we got all the Christmas stuff, and it was a bit, oh, look at that. No, well, a few weeks ago, a few months ago, when it all arrived. I do have a question from Cheryl. She says, it's a dumb question. There are no dumb questions.
No.
How do you trim the A3 cardstock to size when it doesn't fit into the guillotine? If I wanted to trim it to 14 inches.
Can you not take the arm off your guillotine?
I don't know. Can you take the arm off the guillotine?
Yeah. Doesn't like the guard sort of come off so that you can trim your A3 card? Yeah, exactly the same as what you do with your A3 Centura pearl. I have to say, a lot of the time when I'm using my A3 card and I'm making a card base, I'll tend to score it first, which sort of makes it a bit smaller, and then I'll cut it down using my guillotine afterwards. But if you've got our large guillotine...
it should fit into that one.
Yeah. Ooh, if you've not got your large guillotine, this is really naughty.
What's really naughty?
Tune in on Monday.
Oh. Is that a sneaky peek of what
No,
might be
just
on?
saying, just tune in because you know it's Crafters TV. We've always got good stuff.
Oh, okay, but there you go
Nothing
then.
to do with the guillotine, but if you've not got your large one,
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's all I'm saying.
You heard it first here, or you didn't hear it. Tune in on Monday.
Didn't hear. We're all right because the office aren't in because it's the weekend, so we can
Yeah.
say all sorts of naughty stuff.
And they'll never know. It's not
They'll
like
never know.
It's not like they're all watching at home, messaging in and telling us we're saying things that were wrong.
I can imagine if they did. But yeah, by the time they come in, it'll be Monday, so it'll be too late.
Exactly.
So yeah, if you haven't got your large guillotine, just tune in.
Tune in on Monday. Excellent.
Yeah.
Thank you very much for that.
But anyway, yeah, your large guillotine, you should be fine with your A3 card onto there. But yeah, so excited about that multi-purpose.
What's going to be your first item that you make with your A3 card?
The thing is, it'll just be something you use every single day. It'll be something like sort of boring, like a card base. So I can do as I do quite like a big card, I can do my 8x8 cards, I can do my 7x7 cards, you can do your big cards. And I have to say, I find I get a lot more value from a larger sheet of cardstock. My A4 card absolutely won't be redundant. I'll still be using my A4 card an awful lot as well. But it just gives you that option for your larger construction projects. If you want to do your big boxes, because quite often what we'd have to do is we'd have to do several different pieces joined together. I mean, you'll see with this particular box, I'm having to do 2 pieces joined together with it being craft card. Don't worry guys, that'll be my next battle, A3 craft card. We'll get there. But instead of having to do it in 2 separate pieces, with it being A3, it means you can do it in the one piece. It means less joins, less work, less cutting. Makes it a lot easier, and it will give you a neater finish as well. But yeah, it's just one of those, you'll use it day in, day out. I mean, we all know how much we use our A4 multi-purpose, and this is just going to be giving us even more options.
It disappears very quickly, doesn't it?
Oh
I think,
gosh,
yeah, I've
it's
got
scary.
loads, and then suddenly it's all just gone.
I'll be honest, I usually get through a pack of that. So you know how much is in a pack? 60 sheets.
Yeah.
In about a week.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. I do a lot of crafting, but yeah, it's the go-to cardstock for so many of us. It is your bread and butter cardstock. I mean, multi-purpose cardstock is the perfect name for it because we use it for multi-purpose. You use it for your standard card folds, use it for your box making, use it for your stamping, you use it for your die cutting, embossing. It's absolutely brilliant. But as I've been wittering on, we've coloured in our lovely little, is he a squirrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, squirrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, we've coloured in our lovely little squirrel carrying his present as well. But we're going to leave him
You could
to
colour
one
him in
side.
differently, make him into a skunk, couldn't you?
Yeah, I mean, he could be anything at all. You can be using all your different sorts of colours onto there. You can be giving him patterns or textures or anything at all to give you a totally different effect. Now we're going to start to build our box. So what we've got is we've got some craft card cut to 7 by 5 inches. Got 2 pieces that are exactly the same size. First one, we're going to score at 1/2 an inch, just like so, and then I'm going to turn it the other way. I'm going to do exactly the same onto there, 1/2 an inch down that long edge. And then what we're going to do, we just check where my next score line is going to be. It's going to be, so from that edge we are at 2 lines over 3, which is 3 1/4. So from that edge we're going to go at 3 1/4, just like so. And we've done this twice. We've got 2 pieces of exactly the same size, exactly the same score lines onto there. What we're just going to do on this one is we're just going to remove the triangles, if you like. Just when we come to fold this up, it'll just reduce a little bit of bulk, so it'll mean that it folds together a little bit more neatly. So just remove these areas onto there, and then same onto there, just like so. We've got 2 pieces which are exactly the same shape and size and the same score lines. And then I'm just going to go in, I'm going to reinforce those score lines. At home, definitely be using a bone folder for this. It will give you that neater finish, and it'll give you a lovely finished effect onto there. So we've got our 2 pieces. I think we're going to stick these together first off. So red liner tape along our tabs. So we've got our tab onto there like so. So adding our red liner tape onto that tab, and then just line up the 2 pieces. Like we were saying earlier, use your tacky glue on the back of here if you are worried about lining that up perfectly first time. But we are just going to go for it in this particular instance. And then some more red liner tape. I'm using the 6mm for this particular box. sort of perfect size for the width of these tabs. If you had larger tabs, you might be wanting to use your 12mm, or if you've got really thin little tabs onto here, your 3mm would work perfectly. You'll find all 3 different widths on the website. I always find it's really useful to have all of your different widths of your red liner tape. So that's our box size, and then what we've done is we've created 4 panels using the stamps but without the dies. So we've used all of the different sets and we've just stamped them out and coloured them in, stamped them onto Nina, coloured them using our tri-blend brush pens. Same technique as we used for that little one that we die cut earlier, our lovely little squirrel holding a present. And then what we've done is we've actually taken one of our art liner pens, and now if you are getting that fabulous riddle me this, there is some art liners, I do believe, in that box. And what we've done is we've taken one of those art liners, we've added a little bit of faux stitching just around the edge. I think it works really nicely with this sort of style of image. Gives you that lovely hand-drawn effect, works really well with the sort of playful look to these images. So I've added that around the outside, using lots of the different stamps in the collection, but it goes to show you don't always have to use the dies with the stamps. It just gives you another option, just using the stamps on their own, and still gives you a fabulous result onto your coloured pieces. So just matting and layering our panels onto the 4 sides of the box like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sort of fold the whole piece together. So along this other long tab, we've got some more red liner tape onto there, and we're just going to stick those 2 ends together. So line them up top and bottom so they are flush with each other. Just take a moment just to line those up, and you do get sort of a moment's grace with your red liner tape. If you don't press it down fully, you can sort of peel it back, but once you have pressed it down, that is absolutely it. But we're happy with that now. Then we've got our little tabs on the bottom. So it was that extra ½ an inch that we scored when we scored that piece earlier. And we've added that red liner tape onto there. And this is going to form the base of our box. So we've cut another piece of craft card to 3 1/4 inches. And we're just going to add this as our base. What you can do is you can cut 2 pieces to exactly the same size, and if you wanted a really well reinforced, really strong base, what you do is you'd add this piece like we're doing here onto the bottom, and then you'd have another piece that you actually added on the inside of the box. And if you are having something a little bit heavier on the inside of this box, the present that you're going to pop in here, if you need that extra little bit of strength, and that will give you that sort of double reinforced base. But the strength of our craft card will give us still quite a nice strong box, but you could be adding another base onto the inside if you so wish. So those are our box size, but we do need a box lid. So what we've done is we've taken a piece of craft card, which is about 4 3/8 inch square. We've scored at ½ an inch on either side, and this is going to give us our box lid. We've got a panel of white card. Again, we've added that faux stitching detail around the edges of here, and that panel is going to go in the middle of our box lid. And then we've got a sentiment I'm going to have onto here. I'm just deciding where we're going to have everything. We're going to have him, I think, just peeking over the edge of this piece a little bit. So if we add some foam tape or a foam pad onto that side of his body, we're going to have his tail, I think, hanging over the edge a little bit of our box. How cute does he look? And then might have our sentiment onto there. I've got some bunting, but I'm not sure whether, yeah, let's go for our bunting. So let's have our bunting at the top and just some little foam pads behind the bunting. And again, this stamp and die is included in your collection. Really, really useful.
Yeah, get plenty of use out of that one, wouldn't you?
Absolutely. It's one of those you're going to go back to time and time again, I think. Add that onto that. I've actually added some faux stitching detail onto there as well, just to tie in with the faux stitching that I've got in other areas of this box. I'm going to tuck our sentiment, I think, ever so slightly behind our lovely little character, or especially for you, again included within the sets that we've got with the stamps. And then to build the lid, all we need to do is take some red liner tape, just cutting this down to size, and we just need to add this onto the tabs of our box, and this is going to create our box lid, which will be the finishing touch to our box. So quite easy to create, quite a nice tall box like this. Gives you something a little bit different to a standard sort of box, and building up all the different characters, building up your scenes, goes to show that you don't always have to use your dies with your stamps. You can still get a fantastic effect, just a different effect, by using your stamps without your dies. So we're just going to reinforce those score lines, fold up the sides of our lid, and then just stick this together. Using red liner tape is definitely the way to go with something that's construction like this, to give you a really nice strong grab onto there, and a nice instant grab as well. If you were to use your tacky glue, you just have to maybe add some pegs or clips onto there just to give it a moment to grab, but red liner tape is of course instant. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to add our lid onto our base, just like so, and then that gives us our cute little finished box.
Lovely.
But using all of the stamp sets within the collection, not using the dies with all of them, just the dies for the lid. But how cute does that look? Something different on every single side. Just line that up like so, and then that gives us our cute little finished box. How sweet, but using that fabulous set of stamps and dies.
Wonderful, really like that. That's brilliant. We should do demo for the show, and then obviously we're going to do demo of the day, don't we, as well? Because we don't have one later on. While you get your cards ready, Lily, I'll go through the boards again so you can see. So this is the family time one, so you've got all those dies and all of those little stamps in there as well. And remember all these little cute designs. The Lee Holland actually designs for children's books, and you can definitely see they're sort of full of characters. This is Birthday Wishes. This one is On Your Special Day, with the little bridal mouse and groom, and then you have A Spring Has Sprung. So this is £21.60 or $28.80 platinum price. So really, really good items to get. I mean, they are absolutely gorgeous. There's so many things you can do with those. So are we ready to do the vote? We got them all together? Yeah. So show us your makes.
Show us your makes. So this was the very first one we did with our character over the edge. That is demo number 1. Our little doggies on there. Demo number 2 is that lovely Lee Holland Red Dragon. Demo number 2 on that one. Demo number 3 is our lovely meadow hare using our no lines colouring technique. That is number 3. Number 4, we've gone pretty in pink with our twirling unicorn. Demo number 4. And then finally, the one we've just done, our Lee Holland, is demo number 5. Get your votes in.
Lovely. It's a good thing you managed to get that last one done into that. So we've also got the Lee Holland little stamps with the dragons on, which are utterly gorgeous. I really love him. I think actually I made a cake that looked very much like him in the green tummy. It was a dragon that was asleep. But with a really big tummy out of cake many years ago, but it's gorgeous. And I particularly liked the way Lily had used the paper for that particular, for the balloon. That looked really effective. So this is your Hello You. And then you have From Me to You, which is that dragon with the huge birthday cake and all those sentiments there as well. And then this final one is Thank You. Amazing price for this, £7.20 or $8.80. It's really, really good deal, as are all the things that we've shown you today. The next one we've got is the Over the Edge dies and stamps. So we've only got 2 boards, but I can show you the packaging and the finished samples of the other ones. So this is birthday balloons. So you can see you'll get the different dies in order to make it over the edge on the left, on the right, or over the sort of centre part over the middle of the particular card. So you can see how effective that looks with those. So that is your birthday balloons. And then this one is paw prints with those little dogs down there having a bath. Then we've also got the unicorn, which is magical wishes here. And then the final one is Hello Beautiful, which it has all these beautiful butterflies on that. And just to give you an idea, there's a couple of little samples so you can see how effective they look. Loads of people loving that box. Lots of people. Christine says, oh, that's a cute box. Diana says, adorable box, Lily. I did have a question from Evelyn. It says, how do you store your 12 by 12 paper pads?
Totally, Tiffany.
Totally
yeah,
different.
brilliant.
Right.
You'll find them on the website. You might find them on tonight's show, but we've got our paper handlers and our storage, but they are absolutely brilliant. Some of the totes as well fit your 12 by 12, but it's always really important to store your 12 by 12s properly to protect them.
Yeah, absolutely. That's very true. So we don't have a winner yet.
Oh.
I think everyone's finding it quite difficult to choose. So we'll talk about the Weekend Super Save, which is this item here. So you've got 6 of these lattice folding dies. So 12 dies in total that you're going to be getting in there. So this is £20.80 or $25.60. If I grab the board, you can see exactly what you'll be getting. Whoa! If I throw it around, you won't be able to see what you're going to be getting. This first one here is your star. So you can see this is what the die will look like and how it cuts out once it's gone through the machine. And then by folding different parts of the die across, you'll get this amazing effect. It's really, really superb. It looks really impressive. Then, so this one is your double diamond, just here. This one next is your chevron. Which works really well if you're going to be using that on an edge of a box. Then you've got your circle. Again, it looks a little bit like the Olympic rings, doesn't it, this one? And then you've got opulence with this kind of curve, almost like a minaret kind of look to it. And then this one here is a double loop, which as far as I'm concerned, it looks the most complicated, but actually, you know, they all work on the same principle there. So these are £20.80 or $25.60. Lily, we have an answer to demo the show.
Do we? What have we got?
I'm not surprised. It is number 5. Well done. Well done. And we do need to do demo of the day. So we have this one, which I think is it's just gorgeous. And see it close up. It's just stunning. So we do have this one using those cute characters, and then this one using that amazing stamp here. So this is number 1. And this is number 2. So if you get your vote in for demo of the day, number 1, number 2. Okay. Oh, just push that there. The next thing we're going to look at is, sorry, multi-purpose card. Sorry, couldn't hear you. Multi-purpose card. So this is your A3 pad of multi-purpose card. So this is what everyone's been waiting for. It's 30 sheets, 300 GSM, and the price is £12.99 or $14.95. Your platinum price is £10.39 or $11.96. This is what everyone has been waiting for. It's now in stock, but it won't be around for very long because it launched yesterday and it's been super, super busy. So later on today, we've got Totally Tiffany coming in. So we're going to be looking at all the different bags that she can bring us. There's so many different items that you can have, and actually it's mind-boggling how many of these bags that she's created in different sizes that are going to be able to sort out all your sort of crafting needs. So we're going to be going through all of those later on. So that's at 6 p.m, 1 p.m, or 10 a.m. And then tomorrow we have it's you and me again, isn't it?
Certainly is, but luckily no games tomorrow, so we should be absolutely fine.
So what have we got on tomorrow? What are you going to be demoing for us tomorrow?
So we've got fabulous Colour Me Happy with lots and lots of different products, lots of our different ranges, pens, ink pads, all sorts on there. So it's going to be a fab show. Then at 2 o'clock, we've got something a little bit different. We've got a masterclass, but it's back to basics. So we've got some really great bundles on there. If you wanted to try a new technique, perhaps flower forming, embossing, colouring, lots of different great bundles for beginners. So if you're new to a certain technique, that's going to be a great one to tune in for. And then of course, we always have to round our week off with a fabulous Second Chance Sunday. Got some brilliant products on there, really? I have to say. Yeah, should be a good one. So I'm super looking forward to tomorrow. And I don't have to be nervous because there's no game to play. We'll worry about that next week, but tomorrow, no games. Should be nice and straightforward, lots of crafting, lots of lovely crafty goodies as well. So I hope you can join us tomorrow too.
Fantastic. And is it you and me next Saturday as well?
It is, yeah.
Yeah, so we're going to have to brush up on our game playing skills.
We're going to have to try and basically find out what the game is.
Yes. I think Kit Kats as bribes in the office needs to be something that perhaps we need to invest in.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. If we feed them, they'll tell us. Sweeten the deal.
Well, let's hope that everybody enjoys the games for next week. So we do have an answer to the demo of the day.
Ooh.
Now, which one do you reckon?
I think number 2, but then I'm quite often wrong, so...
You're not wrong today.
Ooh.
It is number 2. So
Aww.
that is that fabulous box, and it is absolutely gorgeous. So well done, Lily. That'll go up on our board. for demo of the week. That is really, really beautiful. Thank you very much. It's lovely
Thank
to
you.
spend another weekend with you.
Yeah,
I'm going to see you tomorrow.
And do it all again tomorrow. It's going to be
Absolutely.
fabulous. Can't
Have
wait.
a good evening.
Thank you, and you.
Thanks for joining us, everybody. And we will see you, well, I'll see you later on at 6 p.m. or 1 p.m. or 9 a.m. depending on where you are for our Craft House with Totally Tiffany.